Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for the lovely intro. So, as there were some questions to the audience, I will also kick off with a question. So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think fintech? I'll give you 3 seconds. Meanwhile, I'll breathe. Okay, so now, who thought PKO Bank Polski? Hand up. Yes, we have some people from the bank. Okay, so during the next 13 minutes, I will try to make sure that next time somebody asks you that questions, you will actually think about our bank. Okay, let's start with a few fun facts. So, did you know that next year, PKO Bank Polski will be celebrating its 100th birthday? And cooperation with startups is definitely one of the youngest and kind of latest chapters of that long history. It might be youngest, but definitely very fruitful. We've started way back in 2002, I guess, when we acquired Inteligo, one of the first online banking. We've also been behind Blik, that you might know. But then there is the whole story that started in 2015. And that's when the startup cooperation accelerated, actually. So in 2015, we decided that we want to make sure that we have infrastructure for startups and for new technologies to be adopted and tested in our bank. And that's when we created a whole network of laboratory branches. So branches where we can do that, where we can test those technologies. What we've done also, we've started cooperation with several startup accelerators. So we've worked with MIT Enterprise Forum in Poland. We've worked with one of the biggest accelerators in the world, Boston-based Mass Challenge. We were also the first financial institution in Poland to invest in startup. That's the whole story of Zencard. This year, we've been behind the biggest customer-facing blockchain implementation in Europe in financial institution. Oh, for the long sentence. And after that, regarding that, we've also created a blockchain competence center in the bank. We've also created this year a corporate venture capital to invest in startups and our own startup accelerator. So a lot happened, but what we want to make sure is that when we have technologies, when we bring startup to the bank, we have space, we have the ecosystem to absorb them. So we have quite complex approach to that. There are several horizontal processes that are happening in the bank at this point to ensure that. So we have a big digital transformation happening. So a number of fast-responding agile teams that can work with startups. We have a growing number of people that are actually involved directly in working with startups, in implementing new technologies and working in innovation. Some of them here, please wave. And also, we've been creating this kind of competence centers or centers of excellence, however you want to call it, in particular fields of technology, so blockchain, AI, or robotic process automation. And along those horizontal processes, we've created a kind of platform for implementing that technologies. And the platform is called, surprisingly, Let's Fintech. The platform has been created on 4 crucial pillars. Pillar number 1 is the startup accelerator itself. And actually, we prefer to call it a startup partnership program, because that's basically what we do. We partner with startups business-wise. We find companies that have interesting solutions that we can implement in the bank, that can help streamline our processes in the bank, in the organization, that can help our employees to work better and more efficiently, and that can also enrich the offer to our clients. Pillar number 2 is the infrastructure. That's the IT infrastructure, so the cloud and the API that allows us to share data with the startups and then also monetize on the data. And then there is the physical infrastructure that I mentioned, so the whole network of the lab branches, where we can actually check how our customers and our employees in the branches react to those technologies and to those new solutions. Pillar number 3 is our CVC, so the investment arm of our program that provides this additional injection of capital to the startups that we work with. And then pillar number 3 is basically all this that is happening at this point. So the cooperation with the external ecosystem. We want to make sure that we reach out the key players in the ecosystem and the startups. So we partner with them, and then we are also present on all different events like today. You can see our calendar here for last 3 months. It's been a very busy time. Okay, so that were a few fun facts, and now I'm sure that you are all dying to find out how it actually works. No worries, I will explain that. So we have a whole process of how a startup can enter into cooperation with us and what happens next. You could basically sum it up to 3 phases: sourcing, selection, and implementation. So we have an open application process for startups. They can apply through our website whenever they want. Within a month, they receive feedback, whether we are interested or not. If we see that it's actually an interesting solution, we invite such company to our bank for a meeting. During that meeting, we verify whether there is a potential for implementing that particular solution in the bank, whether there is chemistry between us, and when we see, yes, that's it, we want to pursue that, then actually the big work on our side starts. At this point, we start building the business case. So we are looking for business owners within the organization, so the units that will be the one implementing the solution and will be this kind of internal clients of that solution in the bank. And when we have this holy grail, so this business unit that really wants to work with the startup, then we start testing. So we run the proof of concept, we test the technology, we test the business, and we test our relationship, whether we work together. And if there is a happy ending, then we can move to the commercial implementation. And that means that we do the rollout of that solution to a much bigger scale, and we start working commercially with that particular startup. And this system and this process is not only this lovely slide that my colleague made, but it's actually a working process. So with the value proposition that we have to startups, we already have some results. We've had already over 280 applications to the program. We've worked with over 30 companies. At this point, we have 11 ongoing implementation projects and 5 projects that have been completed. And here they are. Here are our startup babies, our companies that we've been working with. You can see the logos, but I guess you would like to see the live proof that it actually worked, that something happens with all those companies. So here they are, a few case studies so you can get a glimpse of how it actually works in real life. New Delta is one of our startups. New Delta develops a OCR technology for scanning invoices and receipts. And we thought that what New Delta has would be an added value to our clients. So we decided to implement that technology in our mobile application. So how it works is that now 3 million of our clients that use our mobile application Eco can scan the invoice, and then the data from the invoice goes automatically to the money transfer. And more or less 1,500 people use that application every day, unique users every day. So, so we see that it works. It not only helped us to provide some additional value to our customers, but it also helped New Delta as a company. So thanks to that, thanks to working with a big institution like us, they managed to secure other deals with other banks, some of them speaking on the stage yesterday, and we basically cheered them to do so. So the other story is the story of IC Solutions. That's a company that has a system to capture and digitalize handwriting. And when we were developing that project of lab branches that I was talking before, we figured out that our employees in the branches would like to have the customer service taking less time and less paper. And that's the IC solution came as a solution for us in that case. So basically now when customers come to the bank with certain documents, they sign the papers, and our employees, instead of going to the backstage and copying, scanning the papers, they can just say, "Thank you, Mr. Kowalski," and talk to the next client. So it very much makes all the process easier for them. And what's interesting is that that was one solution that we are working on with IC Solutions, but we thought that they are a company developing very interesting technology. So now they are actually working with one of our agile teams, and they are working as a part of that team on implementing some new solutions based on their technology. The third story is a story of Tutorial Online. It's a startup that provides a kind of navigation in web applications. So it helps employees to navigate what to do next in the system, how the process goes. And we thought that we could use that for onboarding of new employees, but also for teaching employees how to run certain processes. So that's how it works. So when an employee has to run a certain process, he or she doesn't remember how to do it. So Tutorial Online basically gives very particular instructions, what to do next, what data insert in what place. We've run that within the proof of concept with over 100 employees in our branches, and now we are in the process of rolling that out to a much bigger scale. And then there is a story of blockchain. I guess you've heard that word like maybe a million times during these 2 days. So I will not try to explain you what blockchain is. Probably I'm not able to. But what we've been doing in the bank, we've been exploring how we can actually use that technology within our operations. And while doing that, a challenge of durable medium came up. Probably some of you are familiar with that. So we were looking for a solution that could ensure that the documents that we provide to our clients are not changed, authentic, and valid. So CoinFirm, a blockchain startup, appeared, and we decided to work with them on that. So now, instead of sending hundreds of tons of paper or CDs, our customers can check for instance, new regulations on the website, and then they can verify whether they are authentic, valid, having not changed, with a unique hash that has been assigned to that document. And that's one of the applications of blockchain that we've already implemented. We are now working on some other, both with CoinFirm and some other startups. Okay, so I hope I did my job well, and I hope that next time somebody asks you, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think fintech, you will think, let's fintech. Thank you.